Hi everyone! Today I am scrapbooking my last page with this kit. I have 2 sheets of 12 by 12 paper left, this Chamel Lane one with these frames and this light lilac cardstock. I picked out photos that my boyfriend and I had taken when we were in Nashville, and I knew I wanted to use a couple of these frames. So I decided to just cut off a couple of strips and pick out the ones I liked and use 3 of them on my page to be my embellishment clusters. I am being very careful that I don't cut through any of the frames because I do want to save the rest of this pattern sheet of paper for future layouts, and I just wanted to use a couple of the frames for this layout, so I didn't want to waste anything. I picked out a green frame with the word delighted in the middle. I picked out a pink frame with a little typewriter and 2 hearts that says so happy together. And then I picked out another frame that kind of is the same lilac color of my pattern sheet of paper with a pink striped center. At first, I was trying to figure out where to lay out my photos because my typical self, I took a photo that was slanted and the other photo was not. So I had the hardest time figuring out if one should be on the left side of it or the right side, or whether it should be on top of one another. I didn't want one photo to be slanted and the other one not. So that was a big decision-making process for this layout. I also had some trouble picking out embellishments. I did have this business card of the restaurant we ate at. As for other embellishments, I decided to pull out those leaf wreaths from the die cut pack and use them as well. I'm trying to use up the last bit of whatever I have left in my kit. I actually didn't have many pieces left, so it was just difficult finding things to embellish the layout with. More importantly, I had finally figured out where I wanted to lay everything out. I decided to do a vertical composition, and I had I'd done a previous page where I stacked 2 photos on top of each other on the left side, so I thought I'd change it just a little bit and moved everything more towards the right. Since my top photo could be slanted a little bit, I slanted that and then had the bottom photo slanted the other way, approximately the same amount of degrees as I slanted my top photo. I'm laying my wreaths underneath the little frame cutouts. I've decided to have an embellishment area in the upper left-hand corner of my top photo, have another one to the right of my lower photo, and then a last area of embellishment to the bottom left of my bottom photo. I only had 2 wreaths, so one of them just didn't have one, and I'm actually okay if I don't have a third wreath die cut. To me, it's not that significant, especially when I've actually am running out of embellishments from my kit. Now, because I am at the tail end of my kit, I am pulling out pretty much every other piece to see if it fits in with the page. At the end, I really couldn't add anything else to this page from my die cuts. I did pick out this gold happy sticker, and I'm going to add it on that empty card at the top, and this ends up just being my title. I pull off another gold sticker. It's like a little sun from the sticker sheet, and just added it to the bottom left corner on top of the green frame to add some gold down there. Again, I am trying super hard to use this really cute tag. It says, "Not all who wander are lost," but it just didn't fit. I also tried adding this canvas tag with some arrows on it, and I think I was just trying super hard to use up whatever I had left. And when I realized it was not working, I decided to put those down and do usually what works for me is to put things that I know I wanted on the page. And I knew I wanted to put the dates on the page. So I stamped the date for the first photo on top and the photo on the bottom. There are actually two dates. One was the evening before. And then the bottom photo is actually of us at a store called Antique Archaeology. My boyfriend said he's seen the show on the History Channel and he knew it was in Nashville, so he wanted to go see it. There's actually a line out the door when we got there. And thank goodness it wasn't a long line, because by the time we got into the store, the line was like around the corner. And apparently is a very popular spot to go to. I've pulled out some punches, specifically these 2 star punches, and I wanted to use them to punch out the center of the frames. I thought I could get some more embellishments that way, and I can actually still save and use the frame because I can either cut out the star and remove it from the frame, or I can even do some layering in the future with those frames with the punched out star in the middle. I did pull out 2 punches, but I just ended up using the bigger one because I felt that the little star wasn't big enough to fit into the square portion of the frame and it wouldn't be centered. And I just wanted it centered so that I could use the frame again. Besides the fact that I had to make do with just having 2 sheets of pattern paper left, I figured that I should use this frame sheet of paper the same way I would have used the squared pattern paper that was in the Hip Kit Club. If I had it, I would have done the same thing and used my punches. At first, I thought I was only going to need just a couple of stars to put in each of my embellishment areas. But then I realized I really needed a lot more to feel like the page was fuller. So I cut up my frame pattern sheet of paper a little bit more and punched out a couple more stars from each of the frames. I spread out my stars throughout the page. You might not see it, but I ended up doing this arrow head kind of look, and the arrow head is pointing to the right side. So the stars are laid out in that direction. I did notice I didn't have much green because I didn't have another wreath around that right pink frame. So I do end up putting a lot more green stars in that area. As for my journaling, I didn't have any guidelines on this cardstock, so I just grabbed a piece of scratch paper and drew some lines down for my journaling. And I wrote about how I was down in Nashville for some work, and I was really happy to just have my boyfriend join me on the weekend so that we could check out the city together. And that's my page, so if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. And I hope you have a crafty day.